This is yet another controversial decision made by authorities here in France. France's Council of State, the country's highest administrative court, has ruled against banning these rubber bullets, these so-called moderate weapons, deeming them necessary for maintaining order and preventing an escalation of violence during protests. Well, that is precisely what human rights organizations, union leaders, protesters, and even some politicians have been saying that these weapons do. They have been accusing police abusing their force, aiming at protesters' faces and eyes and heads, and of course have been saying that these rubber bullets are the cause of serious wounds provoked in protesters. Some 1,900 people have been wounded in the so-called Yellow Vests movement, in protest since the Yellow Vests movement started. And tomorrow's protest is a march dedicated to the people that were wounded. Several of them have been wounded by these flash balls, the so-called flash balls, or the rubber bullets. But the court has ruled that there was no proof that police was misusing these weapons, and they will be brought back to the streets tomorrow.
So how is this likely to affect President Emmanuel Macron's popularity, given that he's still continuing his round of national debates, Annalise?
Well, it's a very interesting question, Tokes, because a lot of people here in France will say that while Emmanuel Macron says that he wants to talk, that he wants to engage people in a conversation, in a grand national debate, at the same time he keeps applying these authoritarian measures. Many members of the Yellow Vest movement will actually tell you that this whole grand national debate is a big communication operation for Emmanuel Macron, designed for the French president to gain some time. It'll be interesting to see how that affects the Yellow Vests movement, how today's decision affects the Yellow Vests movement tomorrow, and whether or not it brings more people out into the streets. That march, of course, once again is being called to pay homage to those people who have been wounded in protests across the country since the beginning of this movement, including, of course, some high-profile figures of the movement. Jérôme Rodriguez wounded in the eye here in Paris last Saturday.